Hello and welcome to Who Are You, a Babylon 5 watchcast hosted by two former strangers, now friends, who've gotten to know each other while rewatching a favorite show from their childhood, Babylon 5. I'm Xhafer.
And I'm Laura.
Ben, say it.
And I'm Ben.
There we go!
Yay!
Hi.
Hey, Ben.
I'm back.
It's so nice to have you.
For a third time, technically. And for the first time with Xhafer.
Right?
We have never actually interacted on pod.
Which is funny given how much we interact in real life and also on podcast.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
We have known each other since we started hitting each other with foam swords in college.
I can't believe my eyes. A minotaur.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nigh
It's been a
on
solid 15, 16
15
years. Yeah.
Eh.
I mean, we've lived together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your son took over my room. Rude.
Yes.
You
You moved out. You were gone.
That's true. You did wait for me to leave.
Yeah.
That's totally how it happened.
And we worked together for many years as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the retail trenches, working overnights.
Yeah. We've
And
spent
you're still
countless
working
hours
together
in
on
cars.
podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a new podcast that came out yesterday as of listening for us today in 2 weeks.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Yeah. We're doing good. Let's
No, we're doing
talk
well.
about it.
Superman does good. You need to work on your grammar.
This is the kind of insight you can come to expect from Last Time On, Ben and I's
Yes.
new podcast.
It is the antithesis of this podcast.
That's quite accurate. So the premise of Last Time On is we want to watch prestige television. There's too much prestige television, and most of it
Who's
is
got the
too
time?
long. I got the
Yeah.
time for that.
No, that's so true. Yeah, I get it.
How do you watch all of the great new TV shows alongside watching the TV shows you have to watch for your podcast? These are the things we worry about.
Yeah, so what we do is we just watch 6 episodes of a show and call it good.
So it's a little more, both more and less structured than that.
Oh, great.
So we pick a TV show, watch the pilot episode, and then we roll some dice and randomly jump that many episodes forward,
Mhm.
watch that episode, and then we construct the through line in our review. So, hey, what happened to get from there to here?
Yeah.
Is that what the creators intended? Who cares? We ain't got time to go back.
Yeah.
So
So we
I'm
try to
assuming these
find
are
out what
shows
happened. Yeah,
That neither of you have seen before.
Exactly.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a list of shows that neither of us had seen before. Our first season of us figuring out what happened Last Time On is Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. I
Um,
thought I was the only person who hadn't seen Breaking Bad. I'm so glad to know.
No,
Well-
and now you can listen along with us trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have so far we've got a couple in the can. I believe we've recorded 5
5 or
or
6,
6.
yeah.
We are already deep into season 4. So we are going into this all gas, no brakes. Just, hey, did that character disappear? Did they matter? They don't in our canon. Moving on.
Yeah. We
Was
have
that
missed
character-
whole characters.
Yes.
We've missed incredibly important plot points, and none of it matters.
Nope.
Yeah.
That one character who was only in one episode that we just happened to catch, they are now integral to the plot.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting experience because I have to be so fucking careful on the internet to not spoil things.
Mm.
Yeah.
We don't watch any episode recaps. We always skip recaps. Breaking Bad
Okay.
does not appear to have recaps. I haven't had to skip one yet. but
They do
that
have
will
lots of
happen to us.
flashbacks, though, which is throwing a fun monkey wrench into stuff. Like, is this an actual flashback? Or is this something we were supposed to have seen? Or is this new information? I don't know.
Yeah. Was this in a previous?
Yeah.
We have no idea if it was in a previous episode or not. Just running with it. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. So it's fun. I've really been enjoying it, and I've really been enjoying getting the podcast with you again, Ben.
Oh, thank you. And I've been enjoying getting to podcast again as well. Since our previous podcast passed away, I've only been able to guest host on other stuff. And so, like, getting to be on Who Are You has been, like, my little fix until we got this going again.
Yeah, you needed a regular fix, not
Yeah.
just every now and again, right?
You guys got any of those? You got any of those guest spots?
We do, actually. We're just spreading it around.
I
We're trying
know.
to,
Yeah.
You're getting actual, like, real prominent people inside the B5 community. Okay, fine, whatever.
It's
prominent. as
totally
anyone
bonkers
can
to
be.
me.
I mean, people from the league, which is just a really cool thing. Like, that ain't happening with Star Trek.
Yeah. That's
You're not
all.
going to get... Yeah.
That's all Grey 17. Like, I'm sure, like, at least
Yeah.
that's how I was exposed to it. Whether it was something else before that, I don't know. But Scott gets
that's so cool.
1,000% of the credit for me for that. It's a brilliant idea. It's been so much fun. I'm sad I missed the last one. But
Yeah, same.
I do really enjoy the league. Yeah, and we're all buddies. We have a Twitter chat going. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
And I absolutely adore the Discord. I love being in there. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I have deeply come to love the community that has popped up around this podcast. It's been so cool to see it
And-
grow.
Me too.
Yeah, it's surreal to me every time. But I treasure it deeply.
We
But
really
Ben,
do.
I gotta know. I gotta ask you the question now. We've asked, who are you?
Mhm.
So it's time to ask, what do you want?
You still haven't answered my question, Ambassador. What do you want?
Well, what do you mean, what do I want?
What do you want?
You really want to know what I want? You really want to know the truth?
I wanna really wanna zig a zig ah.
Does that answer your question?
I mean, aside from attaining godhood,
I mean, that's what we all want. Yeah.
Right?
Aside
Yeah.
from that.
aside from deification, right now, what do I want? I really, really want there to be an extra day in the week.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Work
That
day or
hype- that-
weekend?
Weekend.
Just
Yeah.
checking.
I just, with the way things have been going, we just, in actual real time, we just had Memorial Day weekend.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I lucked out. I was able to take some extra days off, and I had a nice, long, quote-unquote weekend. And I came out of it just completely exhausted. Like, I want an extra day where I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Where I can actually just, exist and, maybe watch the shows for a recap podcast, a few days early instead of, the night before.
Yeah.
Or, just get to go and hang out at the park with my son instead of, okay, we have a schedule, we have these places we have to be, we're going, this store, then visiting that person, then we have to buy the stuff for the cookout tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, we're having fun, but also we're spending 2 hours baking strawberry rhubarb pies. Like,
Yeah.
yay, cool, pie, but also I want some unscheduled, unstructured time.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm in that place
I-
right now where I don't know what day of
Yeah.
the week it is, but
I
Yeah.
understand.
I don't, but I empathize. I will
petition
say,
to add a new day. Yeah.
yeah. Since I turned 30 a number of years ago now, I have refused to take a vacation without an extra day on the end. Like, if I was going to take a vacation and I couldn't get a day after whatever day I was going to take, however many days, I take it +1 and just have a day at the end to just sit at home and not do anything.
Smart.
And that has been one of the best decisions of my adult life. My other pro tip for scheduling vacations, always go like Wednesday to Wednesday, Tuesday to Thursday. Like work both weeks at the end of a week vacation, at the start and the end, because that 1 day work week, you're not going to do anything anyways. It's fine. Nothing's happening. No one's going to bother you. Everyone knows you're about to leave. You handed off half your shit on Friday anyways. It's fine. And you just get that day to just sit at work and not do shit. It's like a freebie day. I hope my boss never listens to this podcast. Anyways. Well, Ben, I really appreciate the insight there. The extra day of the week sounds lovely. I don't think we can make that happen for you. But what we can make happen is a review of Babylon 5 Season 4, Episode 4. Falling from Apotheosis?
Falling toward Apotheosis.
Falling towards Apotheosis. I forgot to write it on the top of my notes page like I do every other time.
Laura, I mentioned this to Xhafer before you hopped onto the recording. I have half a page of notes before the episode actually started. I'm coming into this one prepared. And I want to...
Wonderful.
I just want to ask you guys, do you know the definition of apotheosis?
I was going to tell you, gentlemen, that I had to Google it, because I did not.
Now,
do tell.
Okay, well...
Enlighten us, Ben.
Well, Laura knows. So it's fun because this is the sort of stuff where, just to tie it into what's been going on, this is where you need writers. This is where you need people who know lots of words and know all the definitions of words. Because there are two definitions for apotheosis: the highest point in development of something, a culmination or climax, and the elevation of someone to divine status, deification.
Yeah.
So, it is a story reaching a high point and also someone searching for godhood. And we are watching several different characters in their deification in this episode.
Yes. You haven't heard it because it's not out yet, Ben, but this is something we talked about a little bit last episode. And I had a feeling we would be talking about it a lot this episode. So I kind of I want to talk, we kind of delayed a little bit. So this conversation, theoretically, at least one person was waiting a week for.
All right.
One of our
so
listeners,
glad
I
you
promise.
had all that ready to go.
Yeah.
Is that your whole half page?
Well, and it was just like
How big
I
is
had,
your handwriting?
Not super big.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Single spaced, legal pad. But yeah, I was just writing about how it's the juxtaposition. I don't want to spoil the whole episode before we get to the end of the episode.
No, we
do that all the time.
We have always treated this podcast like you've watched the whole episode. We are not meant to be watching and listening along.
It also has some stuff about
style.
What comes later, because there is there are some overt, Cartagia is clearly chasing godhood.
Yeah.
There are some oblique references to Sheridan thinking, Garibaldi talking about Sheridan thinking he's the second coming. There are some other characters who end up deified in this show.
Yeah.
In one case, against his own will. And this is them deep in their path.
We open up this episode with Ivanova breaking in with some bulletins. She's updating us on the colonies that we believe or have confirmed have already fallen to the Vorlon fleet. And then giving kind of some lists of safe havens, refuge colonies.
I love the list of safe havens.
Me too.
Did you guys catch Drazi Research Station? And I'm just like, well, I guess they are spacefaring, but they don't really come off research station people.
Well, also, it doesn't specify. It's the only one.
I was just ragging on the Drazi in the last episode, so. Fantastic. Yeah, no, I love the scroll at the bottom. Nice touch.
Yeah. So,
and I always love the hard cut from "please remain calm" to "panic in the streets."
We're all gonna die.
Get space TSA. It's crazy. But Sheridan's mere presence, he doesn't even say anything, just walking into the room instantly calms everyone down.
Look who's back. Back again. Sheridan's back. Tell Delenn.
Yeah, in this scene too, we get Sheridan like reaching down to a woman who has fallen. And I was like, we're just going to keep going hard on those Jesus metaphors, aren't we? Because it's like,
oh yeah,
Jesus and Mary Magdalene is what it brought to my mind. I was like, okay, we're just going to hammer that button.
My only problem with this scene was the poor, I felt so bad for the actress in this scene. Her dialogue is awful. Where's my husband? I must tell my husband. Where is my husband? I have to tell him. And it's like, tell him what? Like, no one's going anywhere. Everyone's coming here. It's not like he's leaving.
Right. It's a space station. You'll find him.
Yeah.
I did love, every time I see an episode with him, Alan grows on me more, and I did just love him. Like, I don't know, maybe my boss is a god now. What? I got a job to do.
Right.
I just work here.
Laura and Sheridan have a quick conversation before we go to theme. Laura says that he can't save them all, and Sheridan says that he can try. Very inspiring. Once we get back, we're in Garibaldi's quarters, and he's going over security footage of Laura, whom he explicitly does not trust.
Yeah.
Zach is just like the cap vouched for him, you know? And Garibaldi gets at the real issue. Why is he getting grilled for getting sucked into hyperspace for 2 weeks while Sheridan just came back from the dead and everyone is cool? I have a question that I've been wanting to ask explicitly the two of you.
Good.
Now for a bit. And I'm going to clarify here for our listeners. I'm talking about a fictional world. I am not trying to question the validity of anyone's beliefs when I say this. We're talking about Babylon 5. We know in the history of Babylon 5, the Vorlons fucked with humanity, specifically Kosh. Kosh and Kosh.0 are the Vorlons that fucked with the younger races. This is confirmed. They're hanging out in B4. It's the whole deal. These are the two that did it. That was their job.
Okay.
Knowing Kosh led Sheridan to Lorien to be at the very least saved, if not resurrected. Did the Vorlons make Jesus as like a figure, whether in actuality or lore, however they did their manipulation, just to get humans on a base level to trust Sheridan?
Christ didn't come to Earth to give us the willies. He came to help us out. He was a booster.
Ben, you want to go first?
I was going to let you go first because,
okay.
Yeah, I've got thoughts. I'll let you go first.
Well, you know, once I kind of read the last couple of book club books, and you know, we talked about more of that like Vorlon interference and stuff, I was like, I do think that this universe presupposes that Jesus was a Vorlon thing. Like, the Vorlons did Jesus in this Babylon 5 universe. So your idea there that it has been planted so that it could be useful later fits really nicely into that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's too convenient. Knowing the Vorlons have done what they've done.
Yeah.
And now I get to run at your balloon with my proverbial needle.
Ooh.
Because Kosh keeps telling him not to go.
No, Kosh doesn't tell him not to go. Kosh tells him he will die if he goes. There's a difference.
Okay.
Okay, but that's sort of, you think about it, in the stories of Jesus, there's that sort of like trial where he has to accept his death. So Kosh is saying you will die to test him and get him to go die, perhaps.
I don't know. Part of me feels that the Vorlons in B5 are as omnipotent as the story needs them to be. How much can they actually see the future? How much is it like, I don't know, man, I've been around for 12 millennia. I can see the patterns. You know,
yeah.
They are purposefully unknowable.
I mean, I don't think that the Vorlons like set up Jesus and was all like, "This is for John Sheridan." You know, like I don't think it was that specific. But if Kosh knows Lorien, knows where Lorien is, and it's entirely reasonable that other species have a similar story that was planted by the Vorlons that we're just unaware of at this point.
And they just, hey, we have this here in our back pocket in case we ever need to pull the trigger. Like if there had been a Drazi guy who was like, I'm going to stop the shadows. Purple's all the way, they're green. They would have been like, okay, we're gonna pull the resurrection card.
Yeah.
Like they set up the secret tool in a lot of places just to be.
They just didn't use They just didn't use the Pakmara because they're like, the idea of reincarnation is not great for carrion eaters. Like, oops, we ate Jesus.
Oh no. That's an episode title. Someone's going to read that without context. We ate Jesus and be very, very confused.
I said it and I'm confused. But yeah, if they are going to the lengths of planting religious symbolism in every species, it is purposefully, like, it is entirely possible they are doing like a whole bunch of different possible seeding. Though that does feel like a ton of work for two guys.
They got a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah. There might be more on the team. We just don't know about it.
So,
cutting back though to our scene, does it feel disingenuous for Garibaldi to be like, why is everybody giving me the second degree? All I've got is amnesia, and everybody's acting all worried about me. It's like, yeah, man, you disappeared for 2 weeks and don't know where you were. Why won't everybody just let me go back to work? Because you disappeared for 2 weeks and don't know where you were. We're worried about you.
Because we found you saran wrapped to a table in an escape pod that ejected just you after minor engine damage, and it suddenly exploded. Yeah. It's shady as fuck.
We found you in Dexter's escape pod. He should be more worried about himself.
Yeah.
Like, I would be worried. I would be like, man, I don't know where I went, but thank you for asking. I'm freaked out too.
Yeah. He's way too chill about this.
Over on Centauri Prime, Londo and Cartagia walk through the garden, and Morden pops in to let Londo know that the Vorlons are running and gunning all the worlds with shadow ships. And there's like hundreds on Centauri Prime. Morden insists the Vorlons won't attack and risks civilian casualties.
Battalion 5, raise your hands. You will be the all-important first attack wave, which we will call Operation Human Shield.
Morden goes back from whence he came. I was going to say into the shadows, but that seemed a little too much.
No, he goes back into the air fryer because he's still crispy.
Yeah.
He is quite crispy.
He's not quite got all those scales picked off yet.
So Cartagia tells Mollari he won't actually send out the ships, and then he takes him to meet the heads of state.
I always love when you've got the insane character who's just like, no, of course, I'm doing something even crazier. Like, like it's our same idea. I love how on sync we are. It's like, no, you went from 11 to 15. And I was trying to get you
6.
Back here to 4. Yeah.
Yeah, the scariest thing that Cartagia says in this episode to Londo is, you think just like me.
Yeah. So did you guys...
Scary as hell.
Did you clock the head that Londo sits next to? Minister Dugari? Did you catch who that actually is?
No.
I don't remember.
It's Andreas in Centauri makeup.
Oh.
I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I will.
10 minutes, 39 seconds is the time stamp, dear listener.
That's so
just
fun.
Wanted to be a severed head, I guess.
Yeah, Peter said that even in a scene without him, he managed to steal it.
I loved it, this scene, that, we have the heads all laid out in this kind of a curved line, I think. And Cartagia forces Londo to sit next to the line with that, unspoken, you could easily be one of these heads at any moment. Just real nice.
Yeah, it's clutch. It's just the way Cartagia just fucks with Londo. Like, it's terrifying, absolutely. But like, as an outside observer, knowing that this is fiction and being able to separate myself from that, chef's kiss.
My only issue is with how many heads is there? Like 6?
There's a handful.
6 or 7, right?
There are many heads of people who used to be very important people. We know that Centauri kill each other all the time for way less than this. There should be like people lining up trying to murder Cartagia.
Yeah, Londo should have a bigger like conspiracy pool.
Yeah, like I understand like maybe we don't have the plot room to like have a whole conspiracy going here besides just Londo and Veer. But it feels like the sort of thing where there should be like 2 incidental assassination attempts every scene Cartagia's in.
I think, at least my headcanon, is that he's very well protected, so they don't get through to him. But also that anyone who would be attempting is like not friends with Londo. Like,
fair.
He does not have a lot of friends in the Centaurum. So
that's true.
It's very possible that the people that would have normally reached out to him were like, Malari, fuck that guy. He's just a kiss ass trying to get his glory from the Emperor.
What's your name?
David Gordon.
David Gordon? Well, I think in Italian that means a sneaky brown noser with a hidden agenda.
Yeah. We go to Med Lab, where we get a nice prostate exam joke. You always got to get one of those in there.
It's the 90s.
In my notes, it says weird prostate joke.
Ben, you and I take a lot of the same notes. I'm loving this. But more importantly, we've got to check Garibaldi for that shadow manipulation that we can see and the scarring on our neck tissue, right?
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. We know he disappeared during a shadow attack, so they could have tried to modify him for one of their ships. But hey, he looks like he's clean.
Yep.
But he keeps having flashbacks. I think he has another flashback in this scene.
Yeah, just a little bit.
He keeps having flashbacks and then not mentioning it to anyone.
Yeah, we were discussing, are these conscious or unconscious, do we think?
Well, knowing where this goes, I'm wondering if he has a block on mentioning it.
Yeah, that's good. That could be a very real thing.
But I can't tell anybody.
Yeah, okay.
Also, it's really weird he has third-person flashbacks.
Yeah. He can see his own Star Fury inside the shadow ship.
Yeah, that's a weird choice. I guess if it was just him in his Star Fury and it was all black, it'd be way less entertaining or ominous, but
yeah,
still.
It'd be pretty open-ended, too.
Where'd he go?
So he gets cleared to go back to work, but Sheridan stops by and asks about his test results. But we don't get any more.
After this, Ivanova broadcasts that 3 more planets are gone. Sheridan notes for the first time that Ivanova sounds afraid.
Oh, he knows her so well.
After this, Sheridan and Delenn finally get some alone time, the first since Anna showed up. Delenn notes she's worried John cannot forgive her. He tells her that his dying thoughts would have been of her, and that she is the reason he came back. She's his reason to live.
No.
Aww.
I did appreciate that Delenn kept being like, but I don't know if you can forgive me because I hid your wife, and Sheridan's just like, I dropped a spaceship and 2 nukes on my wife. Like, I've moved on.
I chose you. Yeah.
In the war room, they discuss the refugee situation and how it is only going to continually escalate. How it is only going to continually escalate as more ships arrive. The station is already at capacity, and the fire marshal is about to shut this shit down.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space dive.
Like
yeah.
Xhafer
was
and
a
I were
joke
at a party
for
that
Ben.
got shut down.
Yeah, we went to a Star Trek part. Well, I was at a Star Trek party. Everyone else was at a Star Wars party a couple weeks back, and
Got the prerequisite booze.
Yeah, having to walk down the line of 100 people booing me while Live Long and Prospering them all was just clutch. It was very fun.
Very enjoyable. Yeah.
But yeah, the fire marshal shut that shit down, much like they will Babylon 5 soon. Franklin suggests splitting the party up and sending people to Drawl's condo. Sheridan walks in and agrees, but nobody asks Drawl.
Yeah. We'll do that off screen.
Yeah.
I mean,
speaking
he's
of
always
not
listening.
asking, that's a persistent theme with Sheridan this episode.
Well, isn't Drawl just like watching everyone all the time? Isn't he kind of a space god?
The voyeur,
And,
yes.
He probably was like knew what they were going to ask before they did. It's just like
More
yeah.
than likely, yeah.
And Zathras is down there like, Zathras has to find sheets. And always finding sheets is Zathras. So I have a question for you guys.
Shoot.
So right here, we get the big plan. They
Yeah.
ask Mr. Garibaldi to leave, and we are about to kick out the Vorlons. Would this feel different if it was OG Kosh and not Kosh.0?
Yeah,
I-
right?
I don't know that OG Kosh gets in this situation.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how important the ambassador is to the Vorlon, like, system. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do they have any say? Are they at the whims of everyone else? Kind of like, Londo and Sinclair Sheridan and, Jakar seems to have more say than the others,
True, yeah.
How important is the Kosh on B5 to what the Vorlons are doing?
I don't know that Kosh is able to stop the Vorlons from what they're doing, but I do think that he is a much more active participant at this point, if he is around.
He does seem completely bought in.
Yeah.
Would OG Kosh have like given them the heads up about the Vorlon fleet, perhaps?
Maybe a
Or just-
like hush hush, you need to get your people off this world kind of a thing. I could
Or
see
just
that.
pieced off so that he didn't have to be there, so that he wasn't like, he knew you would resist. I'm not going to be here so that you don't have to fight me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think OG Kosh gets in this. I don't think we have to do subterfuge and shenanigans to get him to leave.
Also, OG Kosh had a much more stable relationship with both Sheridan and Lita, both of which
Yeah.
would factor into this.
Yeah.
Which it's fun thinking of that relationship as the stable one. I'm sure we all have had those friends who were just like, wait, no, you broke up with the crazy one. This is who you're with now?
Yeah.
That does. It's like, especially with Lita, it's like, okay, you, like, Psy-Core bad, but you seem to be falling down some bad rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And
Sure
it just
can pick 'em.
continues through season 5. Ugh. Anyways, Sheridan brings up the need to get Kosh.0 off the station if they're ever going to fight the Vorlons. He tasks Garibaldi with it, who is set up to fail and not happy about it.
Yeah, he knows. I mean, we all know. How are you going to kick this Vorlon off? Good luck.
He leaves, and Ivanova is just like, has he posted on Am I the Asshole yet? Because he should probably post on Am I the Asshole. Zach reminds everyone he's been through some shit and needs some time. Lita and Lorianne enter, and the plan starts. They are gonna kill Kosh. Lots of assassination plots right now. I mean 2, but that's like double normal.
Right.
Yes, that's more than I'm normally involved in.
There's some shifty eyes, Ben. I'm a little worried.
Over in the alien sector, we get Kosh.0 eyes to commercial. Kosh.0 eye to commercial.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's an eye. I referred to it as an eye in the last episode, but...
I read it as a camera, but it does seem to be deeply tied into Kosh's psychic abilities.
And his emoting, yeah.
Yeah.
It's used like an eye, regardless of what it is.
Right.
When we get back from commercial, another colony has fallen. Garibaldi and Zach go to Kosh.0's apartment, and he's like, no!
Yeah.
Shatters all their face masks, but everyone makes it out.
This reminded me, have either of you known anybody who had a breakup where the other person refused to leave?
Oh, do I know anybody that's had that happen?
I'm sure I do.
I've known some people.
Yeah, no examples are coming to mind.
This really had that feeling of, you can't break up with me, I'm not leaving. And it's like, why do you even want to be here, man? You're like, you are murdering all of these people.
Yeah. Nobody wants you here.
You don't want to be here. Why are you here? And it's just a matter of, you're beneath me, you can't tell me what to do. We're not broken up. I'll see you for dinner tomorrow.
Yeah. The Kosh.0, very abusive. We discussed this at length.
Last episode, yeah. Londo calls Sheridan, just be like, hey, so I heard the Vorlons have a Death Star? And Sheridan's like, yeah, it's a week away from Centauri Prime.
You didn't know that?
Xhafer, did you notice what Sheridan says before accepting the transmission?
No.
Oh, I did.
Laura, thank you. Thank you so much. He makes a collect call joke.
Yeah. I was like, boy, that's a dated reference.
Does he? I completely missed it.
That is a reference that will not matter. Like, that puts it in a specific place and time. Mm-hmm. 3 years later, collect calls are not a thing.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's not making it in the reboot. Like, we were leaving that reference behind.
Londo says he owes Sheridan a favor for this information.
And I do appreciate they're both kind of just like, man, we're probably going to be dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are in a galactic find out. Hope you enjoyed the galactic fuck around.
Yeah. Lita gets Kosh.0 out of his quarters and into a trap.
Yeah. She's so bad at this, guys.
Oh, yeah. She's real bad.
I don't know why he went along with it. For reals.
Because he doesn't give a shit.
You don't have to be a telepath.
Well, I think like this is the sort of thing where it's okay, maybe he just really does not consider humans a threat after that botched attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, then we get our big Kosh fight, and then Delenn just wanders into the middle of it.
Why is Delenn here?
For some reason, Delenn.
I ask myself this many times whenever Sheridan and Delenn are doing something important together. Why do we have both of our leaders of the thing in the same place?
Especially when it's like super dangerous. It's
yes.
like if Churchill and FDR were on the beaches of Normandy. It's like
bad idea.
Yeah. Xhafer made a rude gesture with his hands that the podcast listener cannot see, but it was very funny. Something to do with their relationship, I think.
Yeah, I did the sex one, guys. Yeah. Y'all know it.
Again.
Y'all know it.
Yeah. I noticed in the Kosh fight scene, it's a good thing that Patricia Tallman is an accomplished stunt woman because they make her do a stunt.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she has to go like over some boxes or something to get out of the electrocution zone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun.
And I was like, it's a good thing that she's definitely good at that because she's a stunt woman on Star Trek many times.
Yeah. So, throughout this fight, Kosh.0 goes for Delenn. while security's just shooting the shit out of Kosh.0
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah! Bah!
while he's getting electrocuted. John jumps in front of the blast, causing the bit of Kosh that lived in him to attack Kosh.0, along with some of Lorien and Sheridan himself.
Kosh fight!
They take their fight outside of the station and explode.
Well, and my favorite part about this is Kosh's ship starts freaking out because we know Vorlon ships are alive.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know what to do. And Ivanova is just very smartly like, get out of there. That ship's going wherever it wants. But then she's like, give it clearance. And I'm like, I don't think the ship cares about clearance. More just get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Open the doors or whatever you have to do.
I don't think the ship is like, ooh, I got approval. The board is green.
So Sheridan dies again here.
Yeah. Another punch card on his frequent dire miles.
Love it.
Lorien
Nailed it.
brings him back again, telling Delenn that he lives through Lorien's life.
This,
Like I give
this
of
part,
myself
though,
to him.
this really going the other way on the religion talk from earlier. This is like one of those moments where it's just like, okay, I know JMS is an atheist. He keeps being like, okay, so my magic immortal guy did magic, but he says it's science and there's nothing magic about it, so don't worry about it. And it's like, you gave life force to somebody. Like, let's call magic, okay, my man?
He's still trying to do that sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic thing, I think.
Yeah, and if he had been using that life-giving machine that we know is already on the station...
Oh, right.
We're supposed to forget about that so it can come back later.
Like, had we used that, fine. But he just touches him and it's just like, and he's alive again.
Who's to say that
machine?
Yeah, maybe that machine is like Lorien's technology.
But he's not using a machine. If he'd even just taken out a walkie-talkie and just like, and he's okay, fine.
So you're saying Lorien can't have cybernetic implants like a technomage?
If we saw any evidence of it,
you just have to believe,
okay.
Ben.
Oh, okay.
Believe in the science.
And we're back to magic.
Back on Centauri Prime, Londo pays as his Cartagia. He's waiting for Cartagia, and he starts to unfold his plan. Who will be left to praise and worship after Centauri Prime is destroyed? Cartagia must visit Narn to share his splendor with them. Londo does some Alex Jones level mental gymnastics, but he does get Cartagia to buy in.
Mm-hmm.
I did love Cartagia's instant like, oh yeah, you want to fly away, don't you? And
to
Londo
remember me.
You see, it would be this mat that you would put on the floor and would have different conclusions written on it that you could jump to.
No, I'm gonna die next to you. Yeah,
my place is by your side, totally. But we should have Jakar's trial on Narn, and so Cartagia agrees. Jakar's trial and execution will take place publicly on Narn, and Londo says he's going to go so that he can personally execute Xhafer.
Now, at one point, Cartagia in here references that he had wanted to go to Narn, but he had been advised against it for security reasons. Do we think that the people who advised him were actual advisors, or were they his shadow cabinet?
I think they're his shadow cabinet now, and probably were actual advisors.
I was going to say first one, then the other.
Yes. Good. I just thought I had it in my head that it would be really funny if it was just his subconscious going, don't do that. Don't go to Narn.
Now, I have a question. Maybe you know this with all of your extra experience in reading. How set in stone is Londo's vision of the future? Because if I'm Londo and I know Xhafer chokes me to death when we are both old men, how worried am I about Cartagia's plan?
So we know all Centauri know when they die, but we see a ton of Centauri always surprised when they die. Like, Rifa is shocked when he dies, but, like, theoretically he should have had a vision about getting beat to death by a bunch of Nard in front of Londo.
Yeah, right?
So,
like, every Centauri who dies during the Narn occupation should know and be like, hey, I'm not signing up for the occupation force.
It's strange.
I have to imagine it's a, like, this is a possibility, and intrinsically by knowing it's a possibility, it makes it less likely to happen. Because theoretically, it's something you'd avoid. I think, actually, knowing the prophetess and her predictions about Londo, very specifically, he works towards this goal. I think. At least at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know, it is one of those things where because we only ever see the one, like, if we also saw, like, Veer's vision of his death, and, you know, had any idea of how anybody else handled it, you know, maybe we could know it's, hey, you know, we all have them, but they're about 50-50. You know, that would, you know, give me something more to go on.
Well, I mean, we know Londo is intent on killing G'Kar in the second episode of the show to prevent it from happening. So it can't be set in stone.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, why would he bother?
Do you think that maybe he is okay with pursuing it because he knows in that vision that he is emperor? And so he's like, well, if G'Kar dies early, maybe I don't get to be emperor either.
Gotta find that balance.
Yeah.
Get the big chair, but not have G'Kar choke me out.
Or it's worth it.
Yeah.
I get to be emperor. Yeah.
Yeah, if this is how I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I got to be emperor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen anyways, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Back in C&C, Garibaldi reminds everyone that the end of the war is not the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Very prescient.
Yeah, what will come after is important.
I did appreciate Ivanova being like, you don't out-cynical me. What are you doing, Garibaldi? Like, you come here into my house and try and be more dour than the god of death?
It's almost like he's trying to be Russian or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Delenn meets with Sheridan and Lorien, where they tell Delenn he's got 20 years left in the tank. Sheridan's made his peace with it. He's like, hey, early 60s, that's a good run. Sheridan tells Delenn he wants to spend those 20 years with her and kind of, but doesn't actually, ask her to marry him.
He gives her a promise ring.
He puts a ring on her. He puts an engagement ring on her. At no point has Delenn verbally consented to marriage.
Yeah.
Well, because she's sitting there like, I've got 10 cooler rings in my quarters. Do these ones let me choke people?
Oh, yeah.
What powers do these have?
the 10 cooler rings we never got to see again. God dang it.
Like, it is, you could tell me this is a cultural Minbari thing where you, like, try out the engagement. Like, you just, we're engaged now. And she gets, like, a week of watching him sleep to decide if that's what she wants to do or something.
Right.
Like, that would fit in with the Minbari shit we've seen. Just, like, it'd be really nice to have a verbal confirmation. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
A little bit of agency on
verbal
the part
consent,
of the character, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like asking for verbal consent is too much.
No.
In fact, I'd say it's the bare fucking minimum.
Yes, you want enthusiastic verbal consent.
It's important. Londo confirms with Katarja that they are to be received on Narn, and Katarja has one of G'Kar's eyes cut out for looking at him wrong to credits.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with crazy, you never say, whatever you think is best.
Yeah.
Maybe
that was
just
a poor
maybe a
choice
toe.
of words.
Or just say, like, you don't like the way he's looking at you. Brilliant, Your Excellency. Blindfold him immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
put a bag over his head. That's
Right.
what I was thinking. Yeah. Never leave it up to crazy.
I do feel a little bit bad for Andreas here because he's in, even being ahead on the table earlier, like 7 seconds of the show and has to do full makeup twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the good news is he only got to worry about the contacts in one of his eyes.
Fair.
Yeah, true.
So, now that we get to the end of this, Laura, do you know the interesting part about this episode for me?
No, I don't. Do tell.
So the reason this is the episode Xhafer asked me to guest on, this was the first episode of Babylon 5 I ever saw.
What? You got to know more then, right? If this is the first one see, you're like...
I had no idea what was going on. So Xhafer was doing his pre-watch that he did 2 years ago before this whole process started.
3 now.
3 now. Okay, yes, time. It keeps on slipping. And so he was like, oh yeah, I'm watching Babylon 5. This show is great. And I was like, I believe I saw 15 seconds of it when I was a kid during its original run. And I was like, why is Chekhov not in a Federation uniform? What's going on? And basically, I felt like every time somebody has like insisted on just catch me up on what's going on, and I'm feeling very annoyed, like suddenly I'm like, okay, I'm on the other side of this, because I'm just like, okay, guy walks through the crowd and picks a lady up, and Xhafer's like, okay, so this is actually super important. He's been dead and he just came back. And I'm like, oh, okay. Did we not know he was alive? Oh, no, we knew he was alive, but nobody else did. It's like, okay. And then we cut to Garibaldi watching security camera footage. It's like, okay, he was also disappeared. And I'm just like, I'll just sit back and enjoy the show. Like, don't give me any context. Like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah. That's kind of like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So it was just, this has been fun. This is now the episode of the show I've seen the most, because I saw that first time. Then as this show started, I went back, watched all of Babylon 5. So I finally got back to it with context. And now this is my first time getting to, as you guys are doing, come back and revisit it with some nostalgia and be like, oh, this is great. Like, coming back, watching, like, I'm back with, my Babylon 5 friends and, seeing what's going on. So I have absolutely loved getting to be here on this episode because of its fun place in my Babylon 5 experience. From it making absolutely no sense to now me guest hosting on a podcast about it.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to do it with you. That's fantastic.
And it's time to ask, Ben, now that you've seen this episode 3 times, on a scale of Babylon's 1 to 5, where do you rate this episode?
This one is interesting because we do get some big resolutions here.
Mm-hmm.
But also just for every firm finish, like, Kosh is dead. Kosh is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Koshes are dead.
Yeah.
We've also set up more stuff that still needs to be handled. And this is the unfortunate part of the first couple of episodes of season 6. This feels like we are absolutely sprinting. And we do not have any time to slow down for anything. And so I would have to give this a Babylon 4. Because a lot of really, really cool stuff is happening. But it's just happening so fast. We don't get any time to breathe in it. We don't get any time to really, like, the fact that they are going to turn on the Vorlons. This should be a 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
Not something that we find out 20 minutes into the episode and is done 35 in. This is just them running so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to agree with all of that. It's in the 4 place for me because it is very good. But there's several things that I'm like, gosh, I wish we'd just taken a little longer on this. I wish we'd interrogated Sheridan a little bit more than just like accepting that this guy who went to Zahadum, when we know people go to Zahadum and come back changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know Anna came back and was completely manipulated by the shadows. We know about Morden. Like, maybe we should interrogate Sheridan a little bit.
Yeah.
With that.
Just give him a checkup.
And we know how scary the Vorlons have always been. We've been terrified of the Vorlons since the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a little bit more fraught if we're going to just turn on them. Like,
speaking of which,
we should be worried.
So in JMS's notes on Usenet, I should have brought this up earlier. But we see the Vorlon's true actual form, the like light centipede thing, right?
Oh, okay.
And because Kosh.0 is too busy to put up a face, so that's what a Vorlon actually looks like.
Okay.
There is a bit in The Gathering about the poison that is used, because someone was all like, this is a creature of light and energy. How the fuck do you poison it? And JMS is like, go back and listen to what type of poison it was. It was a crystal poison. What do crystals do? They change how light refracts.
Okay. Gosh.
Right? Going that far back, he knew. Ugh.
Always
the show.
Thinking. Always thinking.
I agree 100%, Ben. I also say 4 out of 5. And I literally have even down to the language of saying the sprint in my notes. I do feel like this is the start of the sprint, possibly even like lining up at the racetrack, because the next handful of episodes are just going to keep accelerating this pace.
Yeah, the Shadow War is just like, I'm assuming, Laura, you have had the same experience watching a 3-year-old run, just like unbridled glee, but also no structure to it.
Yeah.
It is just, how fast can I get my body moving without beefing my face right into the pavement.
Really a tightrope walk on that too, because it could happen at any time.
This is not 100-yard dash, Olympic sprinters, like perfect form. Watch how I run. This is, I am here. I need to get there. I hear the ice cream truck. I am moving as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be moving as fast as we can to our next episode. Season 4, Episode 5, The Long Night. Sheridan schemes to lure the Shadows into open warfare with the Vorlons. Londo carries out his perilous plan to rid himself of Cartagia. Bryan Cranston guest stars.
Yay! Should I have guessed it on that next episode then for more synergy?
When I saw that he was the thumbnail on Voodoo, I was just like, man, did we miss an opportunity?
Nah.
That's fine. You can.
I liked Ben's story.
Yeah. You can hear Ben and I talk about Bryan Cranston. Words. You can hear Ben and I talk about Bryan Cranston a bunch on Last Time On, which is now hopefully on all your favorite podcatchers, assuming everything went according to plan.
Also, that name is just perfect. A+. Good job, boys.
Thank you.
Yay.
Super excited about it. I'm sure when it goes live the day before this comes out, I'll probably throw a link up in the Discord. And then also when this episode comes out, I'll probably tweet it and log into our Facebook and do that stuff.
Yeah, it's I'm so excited. And also, I love the name of the podcast. And I am super proud of the sign-off I came up with for it.
Yeah.
Because I get to say, we'll see you next time on Last Time On.
It's good.
I love that.
It's good.
That's got a good feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been really fun because Xhafer, kind of as a lark, just said, okay, haven't heard back from Jeremy Siegel. Ben, go find a theme song for us. how about you ask our favorite funk band if we can use our favorite song? And they said yes.
So nice.
It's surreal.
So
just
nice
like,
of them.
I was staring at my email for like, is this a joke? Is this a prank?
Yeah. I love it.
There's specific terms of as long as the podcast doesn't make money, we can use the song. I never want to monetize that podcast. I will deal with it not being monetized to keep that song. That's what that song means to me.
I'm not going to go that far, Xhafer. I'm hoping things go really, really well. I'm hoping this leads to a situation where we all monetize all of our podcasts. But
sounds like so much work.
Yeah, but if you do really well, you don't have to do your other work.
Oh, there's the key, isn't it?
Ugh. Okay, I'll think about it.
If I can get paid to go to a convention,
right.
I'm going to be the happiest person in the whole gosh darn world.
I'm so upset that we missed San Diego Comic-Con press passes by like a day.
Oh.
I don't even know if I told you guys that. When it was clear that the B5 movie was going to be the animated movie, we didn't know it was an animated movie then, was going to be put out at San Diego Comic-Con. I like went and looked into getting us press badges, and it was just I literally missed the signups by less than 24 hours.
Oh, that's tragic.
Isn't it, though?
Tragic.
But what's not tragic is how much we appreciate Jeremy Siegel for our lovely theme music. You can find more of Jeremy's work at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com or on Spotify. Nuclear Jaguar. The May album dropped a couple weeks ago as you're listening to this, but it's probably great. I haven't had a chance to listen to it because it came out less than 24 hours ago for me.
Right. Also, thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Aaron, thanks so much for editing our podcast and ensuring that it's actually listenable content. I cannot say that it would be without you.
Yeah.
I will actually go on record. Yesterday, Xhafer and I were hanging out and talking about what a great job you did.
It's true.
Aww.
I did say that. It was episode 2 of season 4, I think, was the one we were talking about. I was really impressed by a handful of things. It was a really good edit. Good job. You can take all this out if you don't want this praise publicly. But you did a really good job. I really
want you to hear it.
No, leave it in.
And finally, dear listener, thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate that you choose to spend some time with us talking about Babylon 5. You can jump on our Discord. Who Are You P5 is our Gmail. We still have it. I don't think we've gotten an email in months, but that's fine. It's not really what it's used for. Yeah. The Discord's where it's at. So jump on our Discord, join the community there. We're happy to have you. And
I make memes there.
You do make memes there. I've made 2 very quick Photoshops for that Discord in the last 2 weeks, and I'm very proud of both of them. All right. And with that, we'll see you next week, Internet. Take care.